Jack Hartman squinted against the early morning sun as it was that time of year again, the annual hunting trip that had become a tradition among his closest friends. Jack, a seasoned hunter in his late 40s, had a calm demeanor that belied the storm of memories that haunted him. His hands moved mechanically, but his mind was elsewhere, lost in the shadows of the past. "Ready for another adventure, old man?" Mike Williams, the hot-headed instigator of the group, slapped Jack on the back with a grin. At 32, Mike's bravado often masked his insecurities, and his tendency to provoke others sometimes led to friction within the group. Jack forced a smile. "Always, Mike. Let's just hope this year's trip goes smoothly." Linda Marsh, the group's historian and a local librarian, approached with a stack of maps and books. At 30, Linda's passion for history was matched only by her curiosity about the forest's dark legends. Her eyes sparkled with excitement as she joined the conversation. "I brought some old maps of the area," she said. "Maybe we'll uncover something new about Blackwood Forest." "Let's hope it's not more ghost stories," Sam Hayes muttered, rolling his eyes. 95-year-old engineer, as the skeptic of the supernatural tales that Linda loved to recount. Eddie Thompson, the youngest of the group at 25, fidgeted with his gear. A rookie eager to prove himself, Eddie was a bundle of nerves and energy. "I've been reading up on tracking techniques," he said, trying to mask his anxiety. "I want to make sure pull my." Jack nodded approvingly. "We all started somewhere, Eddie. Just stick close and you'll do fine." The group piled into Jack's truck and Mike's SUV, heading toward the infamous Blackwood Forest. The drive was filled with light-hearted banter, but an unspoken tension lingered, particularly for Jack. He couldn't shake the memories of his last visit to the forest, a trip that had ended in tragedy and left him with scars both visible and unseen. As they approached the forest's edge, the trees seemed to close in, casting long shadows over the narrow road. The air grew heavy with the scent of pine and damp earth, and a sense of foreboding settled over the group like a shroud. Jack parked the truck and stepped out, taking a moment to survey their surroundings. "All right, everyone," he said, his voice steady. "Let's set up camp and get organized. We've got a lot of ground to cover." They worked together efficiently, setting up tents and organizing supplies. Jack watched his friends, a mix of gratitude and foreboding filling his heart. He had known Mike since childhood. Their bond was strong despite Mike's abrasive nature. Linda had joined their group a few years ago, her love of history and knack for finding hidden gems in the forest quickly endearing her to the others. Sam, always the rational thinker, provided a grounding presence, while Eddie's youthful enthusiasm brought a fresh perspective. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in a deep, foreboding shadow, the group gathered around the campfire. Linda began to recount one of her favorite tales about the forest, a legend of a creature that roamed the woods, preying on those who dared to enter its domain. Jack listened, his mind drifting back to that fateful trip years ago. He hoped this time would be different, but the unease in his gut told him otherwise. The crackling of the fire seemed to echo with the whispers of the forest, and Jack couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. "Hey Jack," Mike called, interrupting Linda's tale of forest legends. "Why don't you tell us about that big buck you bagged last year? Bet Eddie here could use some tips from the master." Jack chuckled, shaking his head. "That was more luck than skill, Mike. But all right, I'll tell the story." As he began recounting the details of last year's hunt, the group's attention turned fully to him, their faces lit by the firelight. Eddie listened intently, his eyes wide with admiration. "I hope I get to see some action like that," he said eagerly. "I've been practicing my tracking and shooting all summer." "You'll get your chance," Jack assured him. "Just remember, it's not always about the hunt. Sometimes it's about being out here away from everything else. The forest has a way of teaching you things if you're willing to listen." As the evening wore on, the conversation drifted to lighter topics, and one by one, the group began to retire to their tents. Jack lingered by the fire, staring into the flames as if seeking answers. The forest was silent, save for the occasional rustle of leaves and distant hoot of an owl. Linda approached, sitting down beside him. "You okay, Jack?" she asked softly. "You seem distant." Jack forced a smile. "Just thinking. This place brings back a lot of memories. Some good, some Not so good. Linda nodded, understanding. If you ever want to talk about it, I'm here. We all are. I know, Jack replied, grateful for her concern. Thanks, Linda. As she headed to her tent, Jack remained by the fire a while longer, the weight of his past heavy on his shoulders. He finally extinguished the flames and crawled into his tent, hoping for a restful night's sleep. But sleep did not come easily. Jack lay awake, listening to the sounds of the forest. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of leaves, seemed amplified in the darkness. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching them, waiting for the right moment to strike. In the depths of Blackwood Forest, something stirred. The hunters had arrived, and the forest had taken notice. As Jack drifted into a fitful sleep, the whispers of the trees seemed to echo a warning. The hunt was on, and the forest had secrets yet to reveal. Thank you for listening. Want to find out what happens? You can purchase this book today on Amazon. Whispers in the Pines. Your feedback and review is very appreciated and helpful. Thank you.